Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Pull Up with Limbs and Things. My name is Dr. Chanel James, and I am the owner of Limbs and Things mobile and telehealth physical therapy practice. Tonight's episode of Pull Up with Limbs and Things is titled There's an Essential Oil for That. So, if you have any questions about your digestive system, about your endocrine system, musculoskeletal system, your nervous system, respiratory system, any of those things, there just might be an essential oil for that we talk about. So stay tuned. And if you have any questions, you can always put them in the chat and we'll respond. We thank Miss Christina Gray for joining us tonight. We met at an event in February of this year,
Yep.
and she scanned my face and was able to tell me my skin age and was able to tell me some of the biomarkers that are occurring in my body and what essential oils would be appropriate for it. And so I wanted to make sure that she shared that information with not just me, but you as well. So, welcome, Miss Christina Gray. Happy to have you. How are you?
Thank you, Dr. Chanel. I am doing great, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, tell us a little bit about Rejoicing with Oils, your company, and why you started it, and what is essential oils. So, why are they so important for us to include in our diet?
Sure. So I actually started rejoicing with oils because of my oldest child. She got diagnosed with a learning difference, and then she got diagnosed with something else that affects her nervous system. And she decided that she did not want to be on medication, and a lot of her symptoms were related to medication. And so we were dealing with self-harm, suicidal thoughts, weight issues, all types of stuff. And she looked at me and she was like, Mom, is there something else that we can do? And at the time, in my ignorance, I didn't know. And my mom actually mentioned, oh, you might want to try essential oils. And I said, oh, essential oils. All you have to do is put the oil in the diffuser, and then voila, everything takes place. So I learned the hard way that that's not necessarily the case. And when my daughter's side effects got more violent, that's when I dove deep into essential oils and are they able to support body systems. And that just drove my mama bear into like overdrive. And that's what I did. And because I had such success with my daughter, I started rejoicing with oils. Now, for myself, I'm a military veteran. I deal with military trauma. So I needed some support for my nervous system. And I have found essential oils to be phenomenal in that. And so a lot of my clientele consists of mama bears like myself, as well as military veterans. So essential oils are very personal to me. I've seen the value in them, and that's why I educate people on how to use them.
Awesome. Okay, so tell us about the name Rejoicing with Oils and the three R's that are associated.
So the three R's that are associated with rejoicing with oils is something that God really dropped in my spirit. God being the revelation, God reveals himself to us. The restoration is Jesus Christ coming to this world to restore the relationship between man and God. And then rejoicing is that he left us with the Holy Spirit to be our guide and our comfort. And
How
what
apropos for this weekend.
what'd you say?
How apropos for this weekend.
Correct, right? And so what I've done is I remember when I was studying essential oils and learning about essential oils, there would be like a revelation of, oh my gosh, like I didn't know that about that essential oil. And then it was the learning process of how do I use that essential oil to bring restoration to my body? And I just automatically just started rejoicing because when something works for you and you don't
Yeah.
have to necessarily take medication, of course you're going to rejoice about it. So that's pretty much how I came to the 3 R's method and rejoicing with oils.
Awesome. I like that. That's great. Okay, so as a physical therapist, I tend to see people with musculoskeletal issues, but also many other systems that can be um, ones that we treat and then ones that we encounter that are affecting something else. So
Right.
let's talk about, is there an essential oil that can help someone with their musculoskeletal issues? So joint pain, moving around better, all of those things. Is there an essential
There,
oil for that?
there absolutely is. There's actually an essential oil blend that's
Mhm.
called Deep Blue. And so it's called the soothing blend because most of the time when you're having, inflammation within your body, you want it to be soothed, you want it to be taken care of. So this
Mhm.
specific blend contains like wintergreen, that's anti-inflammatory, camphor, peppermint, lang lang, helichrysum. And so all of these oils are soothing in some aspect to your skin, as well as to a lot of that inflammation that's being built up underneath the surface. So Deep Blue is one of those oils in combination or without. You can separate it. Sometimes peppermint is just fine. Sometimes wintergreen is just fine. But when you have somebody that's put together a blend that's specific for that system, it's worth giving it a try.
I agree. I tried the deep blue, and that's been pretty effective too.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, so you know how people tend to think, or you even mentioned before, that putting the oil in a diffuser is the way that you can have it delivered to your body. But can you tell us about the different ways that essential oils can be put into our systems?
So you can use essential oils 3 different ways. Most people are familiar with those 3 specific ways, but I'll go a little bit more in detail. Aromatic. So
Hmm.
not necessarily for the musculoskeletal, but you can receive some benefits for the musculoskeletal system by breathing in an essential oil.
Hmm.
It can cause the tension that could be there from the discomfort that's going on with your inflammation. And that's simply maybe putting it in the diffuser or opening up the bottle and smelling it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Even when you use it topically, and that's when you apply it to your skin, which I recommend for all of my clients to use a fractionated coconut oil or some type of carrier oil. You can use grapeseed, sweet almond, anything to kind of weigh down that essential oil and allow that sensation, that soothing sensation, to last a lot longer. There's another way that you can use essential oils, but I only recommend this for certified pure tested grade essential oils. And that means essential oils that are of a medicinal grade. You can use them internally. Okay, so I tell a lot of my clients, don't go to Target, don't go to Wally World thinking that you're getting a medicinal essential oil, because you're not. And if you read the label, it'll actually tell you how to use that essential oil. Did that answer your question?
It did.
Okay.
So internal means by mouth or like
Yes.
belly button.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I didn't elaborate on that one. I'm sorry. So yes. So if you're using an essential oil internally, you're
Mhm.
going to want to add it to your hot tea. When someone's not feeling well in my home, we'll add essential oils to some broth. Right now I'm drinking tea. I have lavender and clove in my teacup. I also do lemon in my tea on a regular basis. You can also take essential oils internally by adding them to a veggie capsule. And some people are bold enough, depending on the flavor, to put it directly in their mouth underneath their tongue.
Okay. All right, so we talked about the musculoskeletal system. I also see people with respiratory issues where we have to reduce how much we're doing at a time or build it up slowly so that we don't have them have a more lung issue or heart issue. So, is there an essential oil for respiratory issues?
There absolutely is. And it's one that I use on a regular basis, probably about 85% of the time. I add it to my diffuser at nighttime. And this essential oil is called Breathe. And so the essential oils that are in this blend are eucalyptus, peppermint, ravensara, laurel leaf. So like laurel leaf supports clear airways and easy breathing. The eucalyptus that's actually in this blend has 5 different species of eucalyptus, which I absolutely love. Cardamom opens up your airways. And then Ravensara, it's similar to eucalyptus and it supports like those seasonal threats that are affecting our respiratory system. So the blend is called Breathe because
Mm-hmm.
respiratory system supports breathing.
Yeah.
And you don't recognize how much you need to breathe until you are struggling to breathe.
Right.
So
Absolutely. And in this season of seasonal allergies, that could be very
mhm.
beneficial. Okay, so let's talk about our nervous system. So those issues that can involve someone having like jerky muscles, issues with regulating their coordination. Is there an essential oil for that?
So definitely for the nervous system, there's one oil that I highly recommend, and it's actually one of my daughter's favorite oils, and
Okay.
it's frankincense. And
Mm.
so let me just go a little bit in depth about frankincense. In the essential oil world, frankincense is considered the king of oils. Hence, this is one of the gifts that was given to baby Jesus
Right.
shortly after his birth.
Mhm.
And it has so many medicinal properties that it's crazy. So, like, there's a saying that when in doubt, frank it out. So, if you have an issue and you don't know what to do, use frankincense. You don't know what essential oil to use frankincense. So frankincense contains like regenerative properties. So I remember I had a burn on my hand a while ago,
Mhm.
and I used frankincense, and because of the regenerative properties that are in it, it was able to heal it a lot faster, as well as there's really not a scar that's visible unless you're looking really closely at me.
Mhm.
Frankincense also contains anti-cancerous properties. So, anti-inflammatory properties as well as antidepressant properties. And so, frankincense is like a gold mine. If you have frankincense in your life, you are highly blessed
Okay.
because you can use it for several things. My daughter just loves the smell of it, so she's diffusing it quite often in
Mhm.
her environment.
That sounds great. I have used frankincense for a while. I
Right. Frankincense came up
know
on
this
the
thing
scan
you
for
just
you.
said. Yes, I did not know the thing that you said. So say it again. When in doubt.
When in doubt, frank
Mhm.
it out.
Got it. Okay, I will do that. Okay, so let's talk about your endocrine system. A lot of people don't really know what that system includes. So tell us a little bit about it, and then is there an essential oil for that?
Let's just think about everything female for the purposes of this podcast.
Mhm.
Everything female.
Okay.
Let's just think about the different changes that we go through on a monthly basis. And
Mhm.
then after that, for the women that are, I call it getting seasoned. And so those women that are actually seasoning,
Mhm.
okay?
Okay.
So those particular pillars within our lives, that would be the endocrine system in a nutshell. Is probably the best way that I could describe it.
Okay.
And I'm sure you're going to ask me about an essential oil, and I will
Yeah.
tell you. I actually have two for you.
Okay.
Um, so one, because I'm in the phase of seasoning. Okay.
Same.
Right now. And so because I'm seasoning, I'm having a few challenges, okay?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
one of the oils that I use is clary sage.
Great.
So clary sage is oil that you can use aromatically, topically, as well as internally. And so
Mhm.
one of the ways that I found the easiest way for me to use clary sage is I will use with castor oil. I'll get a Q-tip, and then I'll add clary sage to my Q-tip, and I'll put it in my belly button. And it kind of calms everything that's happening down. Okay. So that's one essential oil. Now,
Okay.
there's an essential oil blend that's called Clary Calm. And the name of this blend is actually the monthly women's blend because we do have a lot of things that happen through the month on a regular basis with us.
Right.
And so some oils in that blend, which should be to no surprise, clary sage, lavender, bergamot, Roman chamomile, lang lang, cedarwood, geranium, and that's just to name a few. There's probably about 4 or 5 more essential oils that are actually in that blend. And so the name speaks for itself, clary
Very
calm.
calm. Mhm.
Mhm. It calms a
Got
lot
it.
of things down, lots of things down. And so there is one other oil that I didn't put in my notes, but I think a lot of people don't recognize it. Peppermint is a cooling essential oil.
That's what I was about to ask you. You must have known that was my next
It is
question.
a cooling essential oil. I actually have a story to share, if
Okay.
that's okay.
That's fine.
I was in Kansas City and I walked into this boutique
Mm-hmm.
and this lady was in front of the fan, like, she was like one of the workers at the boutique. And I'm like, and she's like, just give me a minute, just give me a minute. And she's just like, in front of the fan. And I'm like, she's like the sales clerk. So she
Mm-hmm.
was really going through it. And I happened to have peppermint in my purse and I gave it to her and I was like, here, just like rub it. Put like one drop in her hand and I said, rub it in your hands and just rub it around your neck. And I left the peppermint with her. No, I didn't leave the peppermint with her. I gave her that one drop. And then I went back the next day because it was a really cute boutique and I wanted to get some stuff. And I went back the next day and she saw me and she was like, where's the peppermint at? And then I gave her the bottle of peppermint. So remember, peppermint it's a cooling essential oil. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. I might need to put some of that on me. And then to give to some of the people that I see a lot of older adults, and even through the phases that people are going through hormonally. There's one in
Mhm.
particular that will always say, I need a moment. I'm just so hot right now. And I'm
Mhm.
just going through it. And so you have to just wait. I'm gonna cool down in just a minute.
Yep. In just a
And
minute.
so I know that the peppermint would definitely be a benefit to her and to anyone
Mhm.
else that's going through that. Okay, so you know that I see older adults as well
Mhm.
that have possibly issues with their bowels and bladder. So if we are talking about digestive issues, is there an essential oil for that?
Actually, there is. And I got a story behind that one too, but let's talk about the oil first.
Okay,
It's called Digest Zen. All right.
makes sense.
Digest Zen. And so it's the digestive blend. Okay. So that is let's just say it's everything calming for the digestive system. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And so one of the oils that it contains is peppermint, which is soothing to your tummy. Caraway is soothing to your colon. Um, Ginger, which is for any gastrointestinal disturbances that we may have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Fennel, which a lot of people aren't familiar with, but fennel also helps with some, mild indigestion and occasional nausea.
Mm-hmm.
And coriander supports healthy colon function. So a lot of times, and actually for some people that don't know that about fennel specifically, fennel actually helps with sugar cravings. And so if you're somebody that craves a lot of sugar, fennel, now it does taste like black licorice, okay? And so don't think you have to take an essential oil one specific way because you can't. I mean, you can. I did have one client, fennel pulled up on the scan for her. And initially she was like, oh, yeah, I love black licorice. And so she started drinking it. And then after a while, she was like, look, girl, I love the benefits, but I cannot drink any more of this fennel. You want to guess what I told her to do?
What?
Put it in her belly button. And she was like, wow, I had no idea. So when you're using essential oils, there's an intuitiveness that comes with that
Mhm.
because we're not all cookie cutter. And
Right.
so there has to be some exploration on how to use the essential oil best for you.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that because that's what we all tend to do. Like you were saying, we go to the store, we see things, or we'll read things online and say, I should get this for that. But
Mhm.
having someone to actually walk you through how to use it, as well as like what it's for, I think that's
Mhm.
beneficial. So tell us about what you do specifically to help people know what oils is most beneficial for them and getting feedback from them like, okay, this is not working, like you just mentioned about the young lady with the black licorice,
Mhm.
and why it would be beneficial to connect with you.
Oh, I didn't tell you the story about the digest zen. Do you want to hear that first or you wanted to keep moving?
Go ahead.
It's a funny story. So my husband loves to eat. All right. And one night he was like, babe, I'm miserable. I'm miserable. Is there something you can give me? And I was like, here, let's just rub some digest zen on your stomach and see if that calms things down. The next morning, that brother woke up. He was so happy. He was like, babe, I got my 6-pack back. And so we affectionately call the Digest Zen the 6-pack oil in our house. So that was my little story. Okay, so you wanted to know, how do I help my clients? So one of the ways that I help my clients is I highly, highly, highly recommend the virtual scan. And so the virtual scan is a transdermal optical imaging scan. It's not like your Fitbit watch. This is something completely different. And you can actually look it up. It's called the Visera scan, and that's spelled Visera. There's nothing but great things that come across from that. And so I've been using it for about 3 years now. And what the scan does is it detects your 4 core body systems, 6 lifestyle areas, as well as your emotions. And so it enables me to use my 3 R's method, which is revelation. So the scan is basically revealing what's going on inside of your body. And then from there, that's when I kind of use my expertise with which essential oils would help support the areas that pulled up that need attention. And then, that's the restoration. And then always the rejoicing is when my clients are like, wow, I actually feel better, or I didn't know I could do that, with an essential oil. And so some people, when they hear virtual scan, that means you can literally be anywhere. Like, you weren't in front of me when you did the scan, were you? We weren't even together when you did the scan. And so what the scan is doing is it's detecting your blood flow underneath your skin. Most people are familiar with the reflexology chart. God designed our body so intricately perfect that even on our hands, there's connections between different body systems and body parts. And it's the same on your face as well as the bottoms of your feet. And so it's detecting the blood flow underneath your skin. And so it's letting us know where the blood flow is stagnant or not flowing the way that it's supposed to be flowing. And so that's how the scan is able to detect what's going on inside of your body.
That's great to share. So when the scan that she's talking about, I just held my phone to my face and then you do it. It's very simple, but it shows so much information. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Tell us how we connect with you.
You can definitely connect with me on Facebook, Rejoicing with Oils, or Instagram, as well as Rejoicing with Oils. So the choice is yours. My website, rejoicingwithoils.com. Everything is about rejoicing with me.
Awesome. Okay, so tell us, outside of social media, how are you sharing your information about Rejoicing with Oils? You have a book coming out, right?
I do have my book coming out, and I'm excited about it. And the book is called "It Started with the Oil." And so really it's my journey through faith, my faith walk with Christ, and dealing with my military trauma, as well as some of the challenges from being a mom of a daughter who's had her own challenges. And essential oils is all throughout the book.
Awesome. Okay. And where can we find that once it's out?
Well, the pre-sales don't start until September. So you're going to have to follow my social media accounts. So make sure that you're going to be able to get the book. And I am going to have a book launch probably the first week in October. So stay tuned for that as well. And the only way you're going to find out about it is if you follow me on my social media accounts.
Okay, so we've gone over the ways that essential oils can go into your body, the aromatic, the topical, and the internal. We've talked about how all of the systems can be addressed, or certain systems can be addressed with essential oils. Is there anything that we discussed that you find is really important to share, specifically with older adults and their caregivers, or people that are approaching that older adult level in life, so that we can age well? Is there an essential oil that kind of everybody should use, or you would recommend that people should use just to age well?
Oh, to age well, frankincense.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Definitely to age well because it supports so many different things,
Hmm.
But yeah, I would recommend frankincense, using it aromatically, topically, as well as internally.
Okay. So, if you had a final thought for us in terms of essential oil, because I know a lot of people think, well, our first line of trying to figure out what to do with ourselves is to go to a physician and get a prescription for something. But perhaps if the person is considering, I want an alternative to prescription meds, why would you say an essential oil would be beneficial?
Well, one, our body recognizes it. And so a lot of people don't know what an essential oil is. It's a plant extract, meaning it's coming from the actual plant that God created, the medicine that God created for us. And so it's extracted from some source from the plant. And our bodies recognize it, and so when we use it, whether it's aromatically, topically, or internally, we have positive uh, benefits from
Hmm.
using the essential oils. And, a lot of times we run to the doctor for something simple that we could have stayed at home, saved some gas money, saved a headache, saved some time, and potentially gone back to work the next day, when we could have just used an essential oil.
I like it. Okay. Well, I thank you so much for joining us. And I think it's so important for us to consider alternatives for our health so that we can continue to age well as best as possible. And essential oils really have low side effects, right?
I always call them side benefits. Now, I'm not gonna
Okay.
say that you're not gonna have any side effects, but I will
Right.
share this with you. At least if you have a side effect, there's certain ways that you can combat it. One side effect that people may have is
Hmm.
they may have an allergic reaction to an essential oil. I mean, we're using several different plants,
Right.
but when you do have a sensation, a quick way to take care of that is by using a carrier oil to
Hmm.
lessen that sensation. So there's risk involved with everything, but I'm a true believer that essential oils is a low risk when you're
Yeah.
using them correctly, and especially with somebody who's familiar with them like myself. I think you'll have a great experience.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this information with us tonight. I don't think it can do anything but help us to get better as we get older. So thank
Exactly.
you.
Exactly. You are very, very welcome.
Yes. So before you leave us tonight, I want to make sure that I mention the I Can't Till I Can Perseverance Award that LimbsNThings is sponsoring is open, and the applications are due April the 30th of 2026. We are promoting this scholarship for those of you who have taken the National Physical Therapy exam, but you have to retake it. And it is an award that you can have your reimbursement fees for taking the exam, as well as your licensing fees. And you'll also get the benefit of having the physio trivia game and the MPTE PT review from MPTE Final Frontier is also available. So please apply to the I Can't Till I Can Perseverance Award so that we can help you to become a licensed physical therapist. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad you came and talked about all the essential oils tonight. And if you have any questions, you can always put them in the chat and we'll answer them. Until then, pull up with LimbsNThings to confirm something you know, to challenge something you don't know, and to give you the opportunity to share that information with somebody else. Have a good evening. Bye.